The boom in artificial intelligence is causing a GPU shortage, and today I'm going to share a crypto project called Render that has the potential to alleviate that shortage. Welcome back to the Dynamo DeFi channel. Although I'll talk about cryptocurrency in this video, this isn't a suggestion that you do or do not invest in any particular tokens. This is for educational purposes and specifically education about a real-world utility of crypto technology. Now, let's get into it. If you follow the world of tech, or even you've just been on social media recently, you are probably familiar with the boom in artificial intelligence. Solutions like Midjourney are allowing people to create AI-generated art, much of which has already gone viral. And then ChatGPT is allowing people to easily leverage artificial intelligence to be more productive and answer technical questions, help with coding, and those sorts of things. And because of the advent of these new tools, you've seen a huge spike in the number of people interested in artificial intelligence. We can see that right now, searches for artificial intelligence worldwide on Google are at an all-time high, dramatically higher than they were last year. And because of this, every single major tech company now is integrating AI into their operations in some form. You have Microsoft rolling out AI in Bing and their Edge browser. You have just today Amazon entering the AI rat race by launching an AI-generative images services on their platform. And then you have Google integrating something that's similar to ChatGPT into their search as well. So you have all of these companies that are trying to leverage AI. You have tens or hundreds of millions of people using these tools. In this massive surge in the number of people using AI, both directly through tools like Midjourney and ChatGPT, as well as through these various tech companies, has resulted in a huge shortage of GPUs. You have Twitter recently announcing that they're purchasing 10K GPUs to get started with their artificial intelligence efforts. We have this news story here that AI developers have been stymied by a server shortage at AWS, Microsoft, and Google. And then we have this other news here that some developers are reporting months-long waits for GPUs as AWS, Microsoft, Google, and Oracle limit GPU availability to customers due to the surge in demand caused by AI. What do we do, and how can crypto help with this? Well, if you're not familiar with blockchain technology, it allows you to build decentralized networks, and the project that I wanted to talk about today is known as Render Network, and what it is it's distributed GPU rendering on the blockchain. And basically what that means is that it allows people who have spare GPU processing power to rent out their GPUs, and then people who need to use those GPUs to render jobs, whether that's image rendering or some sort of AI job, they can then rent that spare power and use those GPUs that otherwise were not being utilized. So this is pretty cool because it actually solves three problems. First is you have this sleeping GPU network. You have people who have GPUs that aren't using them or aren't using them to their full capacity, and this allows the processing power of those units to be unlocked. Second, it allows people who have those GPUs to earn spare income, passive income, from their unused GPU. And then third, one issue with crypto right now, well, some people would argue whether this is an issue, but I would say it is that proof of work mining, while essential to securing networks like Bitcoin, involves the use of a ton of processing power and physical hardware resources, basically to process arithmetic functions that don't ultimately serve any purpose beyond securing the network. With a network like Render, you can have GPUs contributing to a crypto network while also doing something productive like rendering image jobs or helping with a machine learning computation. And so that is extremely powerful, and that's what attracted me to this network. And then just going into a bit more detail about how it works, you have three main parties here. You have the Render network itself, which is powered by Ethereum. Then you have users requesting jobs. Those are people who have something that needs to be rendered. They submit the job and they pay using Render's RNDR tokens. And then on the other side of the transaction, you have the users processing jobs. So those are the users who have GPUs. And then those people would get paid in RNDR, Render tokens, and then they would process the job, and then the Render network verifies that everything is completed as promised and uses smart contracts for all payments. And you can see here, just describing their vision in a bit more detail, instead of GPUs being used to only mine currencies, we use their intrinsic function to render and leverage the features of the blockchain. Network incentives and trust in blockchain is really important because it allows all of this to happen without needing to have a middleman arbitrating it, because it's done via smart contract. Now let's talk a little bit about the team behind Render. First person to know is this man, Jules Urbach, who's the founder of Render. And if we look into his background, he's worked in graphics, streaming, and 3D rendering for over 25 years, worked on a number of game developments, and built software that's been licensed to companies like Macromedia, Disney, Warner Brothers, Nickelodeon, Microsoft, Hasbro, and AT&T. But I think what's equally important is also the advisors on the project, and this is probably the most stacked list of advisors I've ever seen in any sort of crypto or blockchain project. You have Ari Emanuel, who's the legendary founder of a Hollywood talent agency. You have J.J. Abrams, who many of you are probably familiar with. You have Brendan Eich, who's the founder of Brave Software, that's the Brave browser, as well as Basic Attention Token. Brendan Eich also created the JavaScript programming languages and created Firefox. You have Beeple, the famous NFT creator and artist. And then you have a number of other highly accomplished people. And then they've got a very large experienced team. So as far as looking at the team behind Render, it does seem that they have the team who's capable of executing their vision, because that's always a major concern with crypto projects. Final thing to look at with Render is the tokenomics, because that's always extremely important when looking at any sort of cryptocurrency project. And if we look at the tokenomics, which are basically supply and demand, as far as demand goes, that's coming from people needing Render tokens to request jobs. You need to buy Render tokens to pay for the jobs, and then those get paid out to users processing jobs. Think of it as basically a currency used in this GPU economy. As far as the supply goes, current circulating supply is 360 million Render tokens with total supply of 530 million. So most of these tokens are already in supply, which is always something that I look for when looking at any sort of project, although there are still a number that have to come into circulation, and unfortunately I was unable to find the annual inflation rate when preparing for this video. However, one thing that I would note is that if you look at their public sale, it was done all the way back in 2017, which is actually a very good sign, because that means that there's been a number of years for tokens to come into circulation. That's all I wanted to share about Render. I think this is a really interesting application of blockchain technology. If you want more content like this, be sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, this is Dynamo DeFi.